What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about how to spool up a spinning reel properly so you can prevent line twists and all that not so fun stuff. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to be spooling up my reel with fluorocarbon line. The first thing you want to do is see which way your reel puts on the line onto the spool. So in this case, I'm reeling and I can see that it's putting it on clockwise. So I want the line to come off the spool counterclockwise. So here's a brand new spool, taking the case off right here. This is 8-pound Seaguar Invisex. We got the sticker holding down the line, so you want to take that off, which is gonna free up the line right here. So here's your line. So as you can see, if the label is looking up towards me when I'm spooling, it's going to be coming off clockwise, and I don't want it to do that. I want it to come off the opposite way, so when I'm spooling that's taking it on clockwise, so it's preventing that line from twisting when you're reeling it on. So what I'm simply going to do, flip it upside down, so the label's down. Now it's coming off counterclockwise, like that, alright? So I'm going to take my line, put the spool face down, so I know that line's going to come off counterclockwise. Take my rod, put it through the bottom guide here, and when you make sure before you tie a overhand knot or whatever kind of knot you tie, you want to open the bail up, okay? I'm going to tie a simple overhand knot. A lot of people like to do loop knots too. Whatever your preference is, do whatever you want. So after I tie my initial overhand knot, I'm going to tie a couple more on top. It just cinches down that line a bit more to the spool. And it doesn't matter where your line sits on the spool. When you cut that tag in and you start reeling the spool up, it'll eventually correct itself when you start reeling. So I'm going to cut my tag end here, and I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see that really good, but when you cut your tag end, I'm going to leave about under a 1/4 inch there left. If a fish is going to spool you, a simple overhand knot like that isn't going to keep your line from staying on. It's going to slip, so you're going to want to watch how much line you keep on at all times and just make sure you're not going to get spooled. So once that's tied on, flip your bail, and I simply just apply pressure between my pointer finger and my thumb, and you just start reeling. Now as you can see here, there's not line twist, it's just straight coming off the spool right up into that first guide here, or bottom guide, and I'm just making sure that line is going on the reel tight. So you want to keep reeling like that. And to make sure your line isn't too loose when you're putting it on, you can just let go. And if line peels off or sort of lifts up off the spool, then it's way too loose, but looks fine to me, so let's keep spooling. So as you come towards the end of spooling like I am here, you're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch of space on both sides of the spool, up top and down here. The reason you want to keep that 1/8 of an inch is because if you overfill it, line is just going to start falling right over the edge of that spool, and that's what's going to cause a mess when you're casting, a mess when you're fishing, and it's just going to become tangled all the time, and you're going to have to strip a ton of line off regardless, so you're just wasting it. So you want to keep, like I said, 1/8 of an inch of a gap right here. And then I'm sure you guys have heard of silicone based stuff like KVD, line and lure conditioner, and reel snot. I don't use that, and honestly I believe that stuff cuts the life of your line in half, so I'm not a big user of that. The line on its own is perfectly fine. You definitely don't need that. Seaguar in general has really good low memory, so you're not going to have a lot of trouble with that. So that's pretty much it for the spooling part. I'm going to show you one tip on how to get rid of line twists and improve your memory on your line. Let's go over to the sink so I can show you for a second. One last trick to improve your line memory is you want to turn your water on as hot as it can get, and you want to let that get hot, and you're going to take your spool off and you're going to run it under that hot water for about 20 seconds, and that should eliminate any memory that your line had from coming off the spool, and it should form a little bit of memory to this, so when you go to cast initially and it's brand new line, it's not going to start peeling off because it's used to the wide spool that it came on, and it's going to form to this. So then you're going to take your spool and you're going to run it under that for about 20 seconds. So after you follow these steps and put the spool right back on, you should be good to go. Your line should be free of twist with really low memory, and you should get great casting distance. If you have any questions Put them in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Other than that, I hope these tips helped you, and I hope it helps you save, a hassle out on the water. So good luck out there, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.